Oh, hey there. Nice to see you. Please have a seat. My name is Dr. Lueva Brentworth, but you can just call me Lueva. I don't normally talk to strangers, so if you give me your name, you won't be a stranger anymore. Can I order you a drink? Oh, sorry, I didn't see that you already had one. Well, since you are here, would you like to hear about part 2 of my story? I would just have to take that as a yes. So, with papers signed and everything I owned in a duffel bag, the army gathered me up and shipped me out on a commercial transport. And I will tell you what, that was a long trip. The year 2944. The place UEE Army Basic Training Facility. Location Planetary Surface T2M4. Lueva Brentworth was 18 when she traded sterile surgical halls for red dust and artillery simulators. She did not enter as an officer. Not yet. She entered as a recruit, one more name in a line of hundreds standing at rigid attention. They stood beneath the banner of the United Empire of Earth Army Medical Corps. Basic training was brutal, and deliberately so. The drill sergeants stripped away comfort first, sleep, predictability, routine, then they layered chaos on top of exhaustion. Simulated bombardment shook the training grounds without warning. Combat drills began in vacuum chambers where gravity cut out mid-procedure. Alarms, smoke, screaming actors, malfunctioning drones, everything engineered to fracture concentration. But it never fractured hers. Lueva learned to treat sucking chest wounds in zero-G scenarios, bracing her knees against bulkheads while stabilizing floating casualties. She practiced sealing ruptured lung tissue while debris drifted around her helmet visor. She learned how to improvise surgical clamps from pieces of shattered hull platings and cut sterile lines from emergency suit tubings.
Tools fail!
Her DS barked once.
But hands don't!
Unlike many recruits, fear never froze her, it sharpened her. Her medical precision translated seamlessly into combat triage, and her instructors quickly realized she was not just a medic, but a stabilizing force under pressure. It's several weeks into her training, and during a routine training exercise, while flying through an area that was recently eradicated of Vanjul, her squad received an emergency radio transmission.
Help. This is the UEE Navy supply ship Sable. We are taking heavy fire. High casualties. Can't hold them back. Can anyone hear us?
The cockpit lighting flickered softly against the matte black interior of the UEE Army dropship. Outside, the debris field drifted in slow orbit. Shattered hull plating and frozen vapor trails came into view. The pilot yells back.
Something isn't right.
The view showed silent aftermath of a Vanjul purge operation completed only days before. Static crackled over comms and the transmission came through again.
Help. Taking heavy fire. High casualties. Can't hold them back. Coordinates transmitting. Anyone copy?
The transmission dissolved into interference. Inside the troop bay, every recruit froze. The drill sergeant's jaw tightened.
Maintain course.
He ordered flatly. Lueva's eyes remained fixed on the tactical display. The distress signal pulsed, weak, unstable, but real. Biosign telemetry flickered alongside it. At least 7 active life signs. 2 fading.
Sir,
She said carefully, professionally.
we are the closest unit within 15 18,000 clicks. Estimated response time from Central Command is 22 minutes. Those vitals won't last 5.
Quiet recruit, I didn't ask for your input.
The sergeant snapped,
We are not in a position to render aid.
but she didn't look away from the screen.
But sir,
She continued, measured and calm.
with respect, we are a combat medical unit in training. If this is a test, then it is poorly timed. If it is not, then people are dying.
The sergeant hesitated. He tapped the pilot's shoulder sharply and grabbed the mic.
This is UEE Army Training Squadron Echo 7. We are receiving distress transmission at the following coordinates, requesting immediate reinforcement authorization.
Static, then a pause, then the reply.
Echo 7, reinforcement assets unavailable. Area classified unstable. Unable to comply. You are on your own.
Silence filled the cockpit. The sergeant slowly lowered the mic. Every recruit looked to him. Lueva spoke again, not defiant, not emotional, just precise.
Sir, we can keep back, exit the ship, and make our way. This will keep the ship at a distance. This will allow us to insert at a minimal signature. 2 medics, 1 security element, stabilize and extract within 6 minutes. We do not engage unless fired upon. We are not there to win the fight. We are there to stop the bleeding. After the wounded is stabilized, we have the ship come in fast and hard for an evac.
The sergeant studied her. Not a single trace of fear in her eyes, only calculation.
You're 18 years old.
He said quietly.
This is not a simulation.
No, sir, it isn't. We realize this, but this is what we signed up for.
A long beat. Then,
Pilot, adjust course.
the dropship banked hard toward the distress coordinates. Inside the troop bay, recruits scrambled into gear. Medical kits were snapped open, trauma foam injectors primed, zero-G harnesses clipped in. Lueva secured her helmet and checked her stabilization pack. She checked, then rechecked her equipment. Then she checked the others. The sergeant's voice echoed through the bay.
This is no longer a drill. You follow my commands. You move when I say move. You treat who you can treat. You do not freeze.
He looked at Lueva.
You wanted this, Brentworth. Let's see if you can carry it.
The ramp dropped into vacuum. No atmosphere, no sound. Only the muted thud of boots disengaging and the controlled bursts of maneuvering thrusters igniting. The battlefield floated in eerie silence. Fragments of shattered alloy drifted slowly between 2 damaged UEE patrol craft locked in lifeless orbit. Occasional bursts of distant weapons fire flashed like silent lightning across the debris field. Lueva closed her eyes for a brief second, not in fear, in focus. When she opened them again, she wasn't a recruit trying to prove something. She was a combat medic stepping into her purpose.
Echo 7.
The sergeant barked.
Deploy.
The drill instructor was hesitant, but Lueva was persistent and persuasive. Lueva pushed off the ramp and glided into open space, mag boots disengaged, stabilizer jets correcting her drift. Her visor's HUD populated instantly, thermal silhouettes, motion vectors, life sign telemetry from the distress beacon. 6 signatures, 2 critical, 1 fading rapidly.
There.
She said calmly.
Starboard hull fracture. 3 survivors exposed.
They reached the first cluster, soldiers clinging to a torn section of plating. One trying to seal a puncture in his own suit with trembling hands.
Medic!
One of them gasped. Lueva anchored herself with a magnetic clamp and pulled the wounded soldier close. A glance at her display. Oxygen pressure unstable. Internal hemorrhage suspected. Core temperature dropping. Zero gravity changed everything. Blood didn't pool. It dispersed. Breathing didn't settle. It destabilized. She worked fast.
Foam seal!
She ordered. A recruit handed her a trauma canister. She injected expanding stabilization foam into the suit breech. The material hardened instantly, restoring pressure integrity.
Vitals.
The sergeant demanded.
Stabilizing.
She replied evenly.
But he's bleeding internally.
She removed a compact gravitic compression pad from her kit. This was an experimental piece of equipment she'd been researching. She positioned it over the suspected abdominal wound and activated it. A localized gravity field pulsed softly, compressing the tissue just enough to slow the internal bleeding without collapsing the surrounding structures. The soldier's oxygen rate steadied.
One secured.
She said. A burst of weapons fire flared in the distance.
Contacts shifting vector.
Security warned.
We have 4 minutes.
The sergeant said. Lueva pushed off toward the second critical signal. This one was worse. The soldier was drifting freely, unconscious, tether severed, suit integrity compromised. Oxygen at 9%. She ignited her thrusters and caught him mid-drift, spinning once before stabilizing both of them with controlled counterbursts. Her HUD flashed red, cardiac arrhythmia detected.
Stay with me.
She murmured, even though he couldn't hear her. She anchored him against a piece of debris and activated her med scanner. The readout confirmed it. Pressure, trauma, and shock.
No time for a full procedure.
She pulled a microdefibrillator patch from her pack, 0G compatible, then pressed it to his chest plate over the suit's medical interface port.
Clear.
She said out of reflex. She triggered it. A silent pulse rippled through his body.
Damn, flatline.
Her breathing slowed, not panicked, focused. She recalibrated.
Increasing output by 12%, compensating for suit resistance.
Second pulse. A flicker, irregular rhythm. Then a beat. Another, weak, but present.
There.
She whispered. She immediately injected nanostabilizers through the emergency med port. The nanites would circulate, reinforcing damaged vessels and preventing further microhemorrhaging until surgical care was possible.
2 stabilized.
She reported.
30 seconds.
The sergeant barked.
Enemy signatures closing.
Another explosion flared nearby, sending a shockwave of debris tumbling past them. Lueva grabbed the unconscious soldier and locked a tether to her harness.
Extraction vector plotted.
She said. The squad began controlled retreat toward the dropship, pulling survivors in a careful chain through drifting wreckage. One of the rescued soldiers suddenly began to seize.
Oxygen mix destabilizing due to suit contamination.
Lueva didn't hesitate. She overrode her own auxiliary oxygen reserve and linked it to his suit, equalizing pressure between them. Warning lights blinked across her visor. Oxygen sharing active. Personal reserve, 63%.
Brentworth, disconnect, now.
The sergeant ordered.
What are you doing? You'll drain yourself.
Can't do that, sir.
She replied.
You won't survive the transfer without it.
Brentworth, do it now.
What was that, sir? I think my radio is messing up. You cut out.
Lueva was more focused on stopping the patient's seizures to worry about what the sergeant was ordering. She adjusted the mixture manually, calculating atmospheric ratios in real time. Her training in zero-G physiology surfaced instinctively, how gases expanded, how shock progressed differently in vacuum. The seizure slowed, vitals steadied. They reached the dropship ramp just as weapons fire streaked past in the distance.
Inside, move.
The sergeant commanded. One by one, survivors were pulled into the bay. Lueva came in last, still tethered to the unconscious soldier. The ramp sealed. Artificial gravity re-engaged with a soft hum. Only then did sound return, the hiss of atmosphere cycling, the groans of the wounded, the frantic but controlled movements of medics transitioning from combat triage to in-flight stabilization. Lueva removed her helmet. Her oxygen reserve had dropped to 28%. Sergeant stared at her.
You disobeyed a direct order.
Yes, sir.
She answered calmly. Her hands were already moving to secure IV lines. He looked at the stabilized soldiers, all 7 alive. Reinforcements would have arrived to recover bodies. Instead, they had patience. After a long silence, he said quietly,
You have 5 minutes to brief me on every medical decision you made out there.
She nodded in response.
Yes, sir.
And for the first time since enlistment, he didn't call her recruit. In the coming weeks, and up to basic training graduation, she didn't stop. She earned a reputation for refusing to abandon patients. Marine, Army, or civilian alike, until extraction was possible. More than once did she stay behind to buy time. holding positions with a sidearm while performing emergency procedures one-handed. Some of her instructors felt that she was a bit reckless, but Lueva didn't care. Her only thoughts were to get this wounded human home, alive, no matter the cost or the odds. The recruits that worked with her called her brave, intelligent, and lucky. But to others, she will always be remembered as that one, the one with dedication, perseverance, and determination that could only be found in a soldier. The spirit of "so others may live." Words she would live by and instill into everyone she would encounter. She graduated to top of her class, but she wouldn't take any credit for it. Because to Lueva, that was part of being an Army Medical Service Corps medic. Graduation day came without ceremony in the field. No grand parade, no music. Just a row of recruits standing at attention beneath the hangar lights of a forward UEE installation. The insignia of the UEE Army MSC glowed above them in cold white light. The drill sergeant walked the line slowly. When he stopped in front of her, he didn't glare this time.
Specialist Brentworth.
He said evenly.
You were a problem.
A pause.
But you were the right kind.
He pinned the insignia to her uniform.
You don't belong in the back line. The recommendation has been submitted. Officer Candidate School, Earth.
The word felt heavier than the metal on her chest. Earth. The Army's basic training was only the beginning. Doctors can only be officers, and the only way to become an officer is graduating from OCS. And so, after basic, Lueva was put on a ship and sent to Earth. The United Empire of Earth Army is an ultra-mechanized ground force, responsible for land-based military operations and protection of primitive species on developing worlds. While it doesn't have the numbers of the Navy, the UEE Army is the oldest established branch of the military. Founded in 2380 as part of the creation of the United Nations of Earth. The primary mission of the Army is to fight and win our empire's wars by providing prompt, sustained land dominance across the full range of military operations and spectrums of conflict in support of combatant commanders. While the public has been infatuated by mighty carriers and hotshot pilots of the Navy for the past few centuries, the UEE Army managed to briefly seize the public consciousness during the First Tevarin War, where just as many battles took place across shattered landscapes than did in space. Specifically, the Battle of Idris IV, which became the largest turning point in the war, both strategically and to the public, thanks to the brilliant tactics of a young officer named Ivar Messer. Transport descended through Earth's upper atmosphere, clouds parting beneath controlled plasma shielding. Lueva stood near the viewport, hands clasped behind her back. She had never been to Earth. Her childhood had been orbitals, frontier worlds, medical stations. Earth felt historic, ancient, and powerful. Officer Candidate School was located just outside the political heart of the United Empire of Earth, a sprawling campus of steel, glass, and ceremonial stone that blended centuries of military tradition with modern orbital defense architecture. The moment she stepped off the transport, she understood something immediately. This would be harder than basic. Not physically, mentally. Standing in formation were all the new cadets. Lueva looked to her right, then to her left.
No females?
She remarked to herself. Then, in a booming voice,
Attention!
Everyone sprang to attention. Eyes forward, silence. Only a breeze can be felt on the back of Lueva's neck. Then someone began to speak. The instructor didn't yell. He didn't need to.
You are no longer being evaluated on endurance.
The commandant said.
You are being evaluated on judgment.
They stripped them of prior specialty recognition. No medic distinction, no combat commendations, no field heroics. Here she was simply Cadet Brentworth. She was placed in a squad of 22 infantry specialists, naval transfers, logistics prodigies, even one former advocacy liaison. She was the youngest. Again. A simulated planetary evacuation scenario, orbital bombardment, imminent civilian congestion. Limited dropships, conflicting intelligence. Lueva's squad was given command authority over 3 evacuation corridors and insufficient transport capacity. Candidates began arguing immediately.
Secure military assets first.
No, prioritize government officials.
We don't have time to debate.
Secure military assets
No,
first.
prioritize government officials.
Lueva stood silent for 10 seconds. Then she stepped forward.
No, prioritize
Quiet.
government officials.
Hey!
We don't have time to debate.
Shut up!
We don't have time to debate.
Civilians with highest survivability and probability board first. This is final.
They turned toward her. She continued calmly.
If orbital fire hits, we lose infrastructure. We need a future workforce capacity to rebuild. Injured but stable, go second wave. Critical casualties are stabilized in place with remote drone support. Military personnel rotate rearguard in shifts to prevent burnout.
The commandant watched from the observation platform.
Explain your reasoning, Cadet.
She didn't hesitate.
In triage, sir, leadership is resource allocation under emotional pressure. Save the most lives possible, not the loudest voices.
Silence. The simulation clock ticked. She began issuing assignments without waiting for approval.
Chen, Corridor B routing. Malik, requisition 2 automated medical pods from sector storage. I want real-time vitals fed to command.
Her squad started moving out, not because she outranked them, because she was certain. Her leadership abilities just took over. Afterwards, later that evening, she was summoned to the commandant's office. She knocks twice on his door.
Come in.
He says through the door. Lueva opens the door.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Yes, come in.
Lueva steps through the door, closing it behind her. She faces the commandant and steps to attention. The commandant sat behind his desk with a file in front of him. Lueva knew that it was hers. He studied her file for a few more seconds, looked up at her, then he remarked,
Combat medical intervention under live fire. Oxygen share protocol violation. Experimental gravitic compression usage.
Yes, sir.
You disobey orders.
Yes, sir.
And yet every soldier survived.
Yes, sir.
There was a long pause, and then he commented.
You lead like a surgeon, Cadet Brentworth.
She didn't respond.
Precise, detached, outcome-focused.
He leaned forward.
But officers do not just preserve life. They preserve morale, political stability, long-term operational cohesion. Can you make a decision that costs lives, Cadet Brentworth?
That question lingered, longer than the others.
Yes, sir.
But her voice was quieter this time. The silence in the commandant's office felt heavier than any battlefield. Outside the tall reinforced windows of the United Empire of Earth's Officer Candidate School Complex. Earth's evening skyline shimmered orderly, distant, peaceful. A world she had sworn to defend. A world that had never known zero-G blood mist drifting in recycled air. The commandant watched her carefully. Then he spoke again.
Walk me through it.
He said calmly. Lueva stood at attention. Back straight. Hands clasped behind her. Uniform immaculate. The faint scar along the left side of her neck, the only visible remnant of that engagement, barely moved when she spoke.
The ship was inert, floating helplessly in space upon our arrival. Structurally compromised throughout. Atmosphere venting. 3 critical. 2 ambulatory. 1 unresponsive. Flash fire could be seen getting closer. The risk grew.
You were ordered to hold position.
Yes, sir.
And yet you advanced.
Yes, sir.
Her mind replayed it with surgical clarity. The distance. The hiss of pressure loss. The drifting red spheres suspended in microgravity. The screaming over calms. The drill sergeant's voice breaking for the first time.
I calculated reinforcement arrival at 8 minutes.
She continued evenly.
Casualty survivability without intervention, under 3.
And so you violated oxygen share protocol.
Yes, sir.
She didn't add why. She didn't add that one of them had been 19. She didn't add because another kept repeating, "I don't want to die in the dark." She didn't add that a medic does not wait for permission to stop hemorrhage.
You also deployed gravitic compression outside authorized training parameters.
Yes, sir.
Another pause.
Where did you learn that maneuver?
She met his gaze for the first time.
I rewrote the field stabilization sequence during basics, sir. The standard compression ratio fails in low-mass vector drift.
The commandant's eyebrow moved. Barely.
So you improved it.
Yes, sir.
And you gambled.
No, sir.
Her voice was calm again.
I calculated.
Another silence. Thicker now. He stood up from behind his desk and started pacing behind it, folding his hands behind his back, as if he were attempting to see a picture in his mind.
You do understand the position you're requesting, Cadet Brentworth.
I do, sir.
You do know that you will not always be beside the wounded. You will not always be able to save everyone.
He turned.
An officer may be required to redirect resources away from the dying to secure a position that saves thousands.
Her pulse slowed. On the battlefield, fear sharpened her. Here, the question dulled something deeper.
Can you order a retreat that leaves soldiers behind?
Yes, sir.
Can you authorize a strike knowing civilians may be within the blast radius?
Her body flickered. A flicker so small most would miss it.
Yes, sir.
And can you live with it? Live with the fact that many will die from that order, but many more will live because of it?
That one didn't have a regulation answer. Her father's last transmission surfaced unbidden. The archive footage. The words he'd recorded before the skirmish. The certainty in his voice. She swallowed, as if to make room for words to be able to pass through.
But I don't believe officers are meant to live with it comfortably, sir.
The commandant didn't interrupt.
They are meant to carry it.
She continued.
If the cost prevents greater loss of life, then it becomes arithmetic, not preference.
And if the arithmetic is wrong?
Then it is my responsibility.
The room went very still. For a moment, she wasn't 18. She wasn't the prodigy surgeon from New Babbage. She wasn't the recruit who erased her surname to escape legacy. She was simply a young woman choosing what kind of weight she was willing to bear. The commandant returned to his seat.
You hesitated.
Yes, sir, I did.
Why?
Because preserving life is clean.
She said quietly.
Sacrificing it, even strategically, is not.
He exhausted a long breath.
Good.
Lueva looked up, bewildered.
If you had answered without hesitation,
He continued.
I would have dismissed you.
Her eyes sharpened again.
Officers, or those who do not feel the cost, become dangerous. Officers who only feel the cost become ineffective. We require balance.
He closed her file.
You lead like a surgeon, precise, outcome-focused.
There was a faint nod.
But you are learning to think like a commander.
He slid a data pad across the desk.
Your first evaluation cycle begins tomorrow. Tactical resource denial simulations, multi-theater crisis management, civilian evacuation under insurgent pressure.
Yes, sir.
As she turned to leave, he added one final line.
Cadet Brentworth.
She paused, as if to be frozen in time.
Do not lose the part of you that hates the question.
Her answer came steadier now.
I won't, sir.
Outside, the night air over Earth was cool and steady. Civilian transports crossed the sky in neat, luminous arcs. People laughed in streets below. Markets closed. Lights dimmed. Order. Stability. Cohesion. She understood now. A combat medic preserves the soldier in front of her. An officer preserves the future they are fighting for. And sometimes, that means choosing which tomorrow survives. Officers Candidate School really molds you. It changes you. I definitely was not the same person afterwards. I really hope you enjoyed part 2, but just know this is not the end. I will start working on part 3, so please like, share, and subscribe for more content. And if you did like this, or any of my other stuff, leave a comment. Let me know what you liked and what you didn't. Take care, and I hope to see you in the verse.